Guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, in case you didn't read the title, we're going to be talking about who rushes into love and why, and maybe talk about some of the pitfalls that might befall you if you do rush into love. And for our case study, we're going to be using none other than Ariana Grande, because in case you didn't know, back in 2018, she was engaged to Pete. I always want to say Pete Wentz. It's not Pete Wentz. Pete, whatever his last name is. He's a comedian. He's very handsome, very funny. And they were engaged after a very brief relationship. I believe they were together for a month and they were engaged. Sadly to say, they didn't stay together, but it's 2020 and Ariana is in love again and she is recently engaged. I think the news came out this morning and that is sort of what prompted this video. So who is it that rushes into love, and really what's wrong with that? So she's going to be our case study because she has all of the indications of a person who would rush into love, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're not going to be bashing on Ariana. I absolutely love her music. I love her chart. She's a Capricorn rising. We love a Capricorn rising queen on this channel. So let's get into the video, guys. So who is it? Who is it that rushes into things? It's going to be your cardinal signs, right? But since we're talking about relationships, who is the cardinal sign that is most prone to rushing into relationships? It's going to be Cancer, because Cancer rules cardinal water, right? So water is emotion, it's love, it's feelings, it's relationships. So cardinal water, Cancer, is going to be the type of energy that is going to want to rush to pair up with somebody. And who else might be really prone to rushing into relationships? Cardinal air, because air wants to relate, and Libra is the kind of sign to really rush into relating to other people. Not only that, but Libra is also ruled by Venus, which is the planet of love. So Libra energy, Cancer energy. What about Aries? Aries is another sign that really likes to rush into things because they are taken by the heat of the moment. They're a very passionate sign. So when something feels right to an Aries, they're going to jump in. And lastly, we have Capricorn. And Capricorn, I wouldn't say that Capricorn necessarily rushes into relationships because they are ruled by Saturn. So Saturn is a very slow planet and it is a very cautious planet. So this is the one thing that might inhibit them or prevent them from rushing into relationships. But I would say that they're still cardinal. So Capricorn would be the kind to solidify something serious, so to speak. So now that we looked at all of those indications for rushing into relationships, can we briefly for a moment think about what kind of things might go wrong if you are rushing into relationships or if you're rushing into something serious? So really what could go wrong, this is just going to be off the top of my head. I did do a little bit of research, so I'm going to give you that, but I'm going to tell you right now, it wasn't a whole lot of research and there wasn't a whole lot to find. But let me pop that up so that I can have it here, right? So what happens when you first meet somebody is that you're really excited, the oxytocin is going, the serotonin, you're all in love, you feel like you're high. So all of that is wonderful and you want to get to know somebody. But the thing is that when you're in the beginning stages of a relationship, you don't really show your ugly side. And I always say that you don't know somebody until you've been in your first real fight. Until you've fought with somebody, you don't really know who they are. They are showing you their most curated self. They're showing you their best self. You are kind of under the haze of Neptune when you first meet somebody, especially if this is a Neptunian relationship, which when you rush into relationships, they do tend to be Neptunian because they seem so amazing and so life-changing and so once-in-a-lifetime sort of vibes. So you're not really seeing what's actually there. And the thing is that you can meet a very wonderful person, and throughout time, you'll still like them just as you did at the beginning, but you will get to see past, the shady, beautiful exterior. Shady's a bad word. No. Past the exterior that you saw at the beginning, right? So once you get past that honeymoon phase, the Neptune haze, you really get to know a person for who they actually are. And the reason why maybe the other water signs aren't prone to this, Scorpio. Scorpio is very cautious. So Scorpio doesn't like to see perfection and they don't see perfection. So Scorpio is going to dig, and that's why they are not necessarily prone to this kind of rushing into love like Cancer might be. And Pisces is just very mutable. So they're go with the flow. And Pisces is not the type of person to rush into commitment. That would be more of a Cancer thing. So in this article that I found, it talks about how when we are at the beginning stages of a relationship, we can do something known as monologuing. And that's really when you either intentionally or accidentally you're talking about yourself because you're getting to know the other person and it's so exciting. You feel seen, the other person feels seen, so you just want to share everything. And that, it feels really good to, be in the limelight for a moment, to shine your sun, your Venus, show them who you are and how you want to be seen by them. But we can have a tendency to accidentally or on purpose kind of gloss over the more negative things or the things that we might want to change about ourselves or the things that we're not proud of, because no one opens up on a date by starting with like, actually, when I get heated, I am going to break something. You don't open with that, or you probably shouldn't open with that. So it sets you up for failure essentially, because it's going to be difficult for you to live up to this monologue that you've set up. So the person is going to be disappointed if you end up not being this amazing sun person that you portrayed yourself to be. So people who rush into commitments in relationships, they run the risk of not living up to, this sunny version of themselves that they portray themselves to be. And it's not like they were trying to fool anybody. It's very easy to be on your best behavior for a few months and to be in this Neptunian phase. And really, when you go into your day-to-day life, when the stresses of work, when the stresses of your family, of your day-to-day with your hormones, when that really takes over and they see more of the negative side of your moon, then things are going to be quite different. That's why I think it's very important to really get to know the person that you are committing to. And like I said, I really feel that you need to have your first big good fight. They need to see the negative side of your moon, the dark side of your moon, and your Mars. You need to Mars it out and moon it out before you can really commit to somebody, because what if your first argument, everyone's going to argue, no relationship is perfect, and you're going to have your struggles. So you need to know how each person is going to fight, because sometimes there are some non-negotiables. Like some people yell in arguments and some people are okay with that. Some people are like, oh yeah, you yell, I yell, that's fine, it's no big deal. And for some people, that's true. I'm not gonna be here and be like, no, yelling is bad, no one should ever yell at you. Personally, I can't take yelling. I didn't grow up in, my mom's like, her voice is very loud, but my parents never yelled at each other. I never heard my dad raise his voice. So when I hear men raise their voice, I can't take it. I'll cry. And I don't want to cry because I'm a tough lady. So I don't like yelling, but other people, I know that they yell at each other and it's normal to them because that is what they're comfortable with. So you have to know what you're comfortable with, and you're not going to know that until you get into a fight, a disagreement with the person that you're with. So that is just my opinion. I did try to research this and I didn't find very much. I just found this article from Thrive Global from a woman who writes for Business Insider, and she didn't provide her sources, so it's not like hugely credible, but it sounds reasonable. So let me just read it to you. It says, studies have found that people who dated for a short time, less than 6 months, before getting engaged have a wide range of marital happiness. Some very happy, but others very unhappy. And this sounds reasonable that like some of them are gonna do a good job and others are not. So now let's look at Ariana's chart and why she is the kind of person to rush into love. And in case you didn't know, she is a Cancer sun. So she's a Cancer sun in Mercury. So just all of this romantic music that you hear her make, give me them babies, that is all Ariana. She's not faking it. This is who she is. But not only is she a Cancer sun, she also has that Cancer sun in the 7th house. And in case you didn't know, that is the house of Libra. It's the house of relationships. So having very close familial bonds in her relationships is going to be super important to her. And this reminds me of a video that I saw from Shallon Lester this morning. She was talking about the Ariana thing and she was like, isn't it kind of weird that Ariana always does, like she mixes with the family very early on? And I was just like, no, she's a Cancer sun in the 7th house. It is not weird for a Cancer sun in the 7th house at all to rush into very intimate things with a partner. So apparently Ariana's engagement ring So her guy made her an engagement ring, a custom engagement ring, and it has a pearl that came from her grandfather's tie clip, and it was like a very precious thing to her, and she's very sentimental. She's a Cancer. So she's including him already in her family, and I believe that when she was dating Pete, she got a tattoo of something that was commemorative of Pete's dad. So again, that people were just like, whoa, like you just met the guy. But she's Cancer's sun in the 7th house. So she likes this very close intimacy. She likes to feel like family to the people that she's in a relationship with. And if you know anything about her, or if you watch documentaries about her, which today I did, it's on Netflix. To prepare for this, I was like, let's watch some documentaries about her. So I saw the way that she treats the people that she works with, and it really does seem like they're a family. And if somebody were to say like, oh, it's fake, like she's just doing that for the cameras, I would really beg to differ, because we have her chart, guys. We have her certified A data chart, so we know that this is her accurate birth time. So a person with Cancer sun in the 7th house is going to be very intimate with their partners and is going to feel like their family right from the start, because again, she is a cardinal water Cancer sun. So that's the way that she sees herself. She sees herself as this very nurturing, kind, giving, accommodating person, and maybe that is how she shows that, by including them in family-oriented things. So that makes perfect sense when we look at her chart. The next thing that makes her very prone to this, so we said the Cancer, we said the 7th house. She's also a Capricorn rising with Neptune on her ascendant. And Neptune and Uranus on her ascendant. So Uranus is going to make her random. She's going to just randomly do things, and she's just going to be like sitting in her apartment, and she's going to be like, I feel like getting married today, and she's gonna go get married, because that's the Uranus. Her ascendant is her behavior, her personality, the way that she carries herself in her life. She's also a Capricorn rising, and you might be like, Denise, like, shouldn't that make her a little bit more responsible? Well, I think it is responsible. She's trying to get married with these people, so she wants a husband. Like, she doesn't want just a fling. She wants a very serious relationship, which a Capricorn rising would. They want to know how their relationship is going to play out. They don't mess around, right? They don't waste time. And she also has Neptune in the 1st house. So in case you haven't watched my Neptune versus Venus video or my Neptune video, then you don't know, but people with Neptune in the 1st house really have this very curated image that they like to portray. So she wants to see herself as this ideal woman, and she does everything that she can to be that way, but that is really difficult to keep up in relationships. So if somebody fell in love with you for this like beautiful goddess that you presented yourself to be, how exhausting is that going to be to keep up in your everyday life? So keeping your makeup done at all times. Like, we hardly ever see Ariana without makeup, or without her like signature like ponytail, or without her whole like fit put together, because that is her image. That's the image that she's portraying to us. It's going to be difficult to see her outside of that, because that Neptune is in the 1st house. She wants to be seen as very idealized and very heightened sense of reality is what she wants to portray. And next, she has a Libra moon, guys. A moon Jupiter in Libra in the 10th house. So this is a very public house. So she's going to show us how relationally oriented she is. And moon Jupiter increases everything that it touches. So it increases her need for relationships. So every time she sings about this and how she's like a sucker for love and, oh, I'm so needy and all of that, she's not lying. It's like all of her music, it's in her chart. So I think that she has all of the indications of a person who is going to be very relationship oriented, very quick, you know, she's very cardinal. She's got a cardinal rising, a cardinal sun, and that Uranus on the ascendant, that's going to make her do random things for love, because she has a very romantic chart, that Libra moon driven towards relationships. So I think that it's normal for her. So I think it could work out, especially if we looked at the guy's chart and he had a lot of Saturn and he had a lot of serious Capricorn energy. I think it could definitely work out and be a long thing. People used to get married really quick back in the day and stay married. I mean, maybe they weren't super happy, but they stayed together and they were a family. And family seems like something that is very high on her priority list. So that's a video for today, guys. Are you super cardinal? Do you have cancers? Can you tell me in the comments how fast you rush, how fast you fall into relationships, and how fast you fall in love? I have a Mars in Aries, so I could sort of understand. Like, I'm like quick to know what I want and like to go after it. I understand it. I definitely understand it. I got married when I was 23, guys. So yeah, I totally get it. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think that it's doomed from the start because it is starting so fast? Do you think that there's a chance that it could work? I think that there's a chance that it could work. I think she's very honest about what she wants. She wants love, she wants attention, she wants to be very intimate and close with her partners. You know, those cancers, they like to be extremely close with their partners. If you haven't watched my Cancer Venus video, I recommend it. So that's it, guys. That's all that I have for you today. I hope you liked the video. If you did, make sure you give me a thumbs up. If you have any other like popular culture topics that you'd like for me to discuss, make sure you put them in the comments, because I have planets in the 11th house, so I like to stay, you know, with my foot in culture, in what's going on in popular culture, because it's important. Because otherwise, like, who am I if I'm not part of that? I'll see you in the next one. Bye.